Alright, so we just got back from our midwife appointment. We're grabbing a hamburger. We have this whole place to ourselves, so I'm going to talk some candid talk here. So we did check cervix. It's 2 centimeters dilated already, which is good. And then we did a membrane sweep, so hopefully baby will be here sooner than later. The reason for that is to just kind of release some hormones and kind of get things going. My blood pressure is a little bit high again, so we're trying to avoid that. So now we're just kind of hoping that something will happen this weekend, maybe. Usually a membrane sweep doesn't send you right into labor or anything, but I'm feeling a little bit swollen in my face and a little bit swollen in my hands and feet, so we're going to keep monitoring the blood pressure. We took some blood labs today. See my arms. I think more people are walking in, so I'm going to be done.
So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, about 12:45 exactly, and she just woke up, and flipped the lights on.
If I even laugh, it just like comes out.
And I didn't know what we were doing. I wasn't really sure what to expect. But her water broke, the mucus plug is out, and now we're just waiting for a first contraction.
Yeah, so we called the midwife, and then we called our grandma, or called my mom, Grammy, who's going to be watching Canyon, and midwife called back when grandma was all set up, you know, everything. We were about ready to head down there. Sorry, I can't even think straight right now. This is like, water is just, it's a lot. I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, her water definitely. I remember this for last time, when her water broke, it was a lot more than she thought to. So it's, like I said, about 12:45, and we're going to try to get another couple hours of sleep while we wait for that first contraction. Because water broke, but no contractions. So we did some pelvic stimulation. Don't quote me on what it was exactly. We did something at the midwife this afternoon. And because her blood pressure was starting to get a little higher than normal, they suggested it. So we're 38 weeks and a couple days, and I think the baby's on her way. I quoted 10-5. That was my date because we had a little bet going on what day. So just so you know, it's just over at midnight, turned to 10-5, so October 5th. So Brandy didn't want to share her birthday, which is October 2nd. So I guess a couple days later. So here we are. Looks like I might be right if the baby comes quickly. Yeah, and then the mucus plug was like maybe this big, and it was definitely like more of a brownish color, and it was definitely like a little clot, like, you know, a little something more significant than just the water. So that's when I say the mucus plug is out, and she's coming, she's on her way. So
She'll be here. So yeah, they said just try to get a little bit of sleep. We have our midwife's direct number since she's the one on call. So I said, well, how long is it going to be till contractions start? Is it going to be like an hour, 3 days? Just so we have an idea for babysitter. And she said almost everyone will have some contractions within 24 hours. But she also said labor tends to not start with your water breaking like in the movies. That's well, very rare. So here we are again.
We're very rare.
We're an anomaly, us too. But we're going to meet Dakota soon.
I'm excited. I'm super excited.
We're going to go back to bed for a little bit.
See you in the morning.
Okay. Bye.
So this morning we were reading in the Penny Simkin birth book, do not drive yourself.
I do what I want.
She wouldn't let me drive.
I never do.
No, this is true. She does not let me drive.
I'm not even having a contraction.
She's having contractions, but she's so strong she doesn't know they're contractions.
No, I think they're the pre-labor ones.
Her stomach is completely hard to the touch.
Rock solid. So I can't tell if I'm having a contraction. It doesn't
and then
hurt.
Dissipates, and then it gets hard again, and then it dissipates like this. And then soft. And then soft.
It's not like that. It's been exactly like that since 1 o'clock this morning. So if I was timing them, I would say they're 5 minutes apart, but just hard. Yeah. No pain. Not even a cramp.
Yeah, nothing. No pain at all. So that's what's kind of... So we're on our way to the birth center. She had one high blood pressure take, and then she went outside and it lowered a little bit on the diagnostic.
Systolic.
Systolic
No,
is the
no,
top number.
diastolic.
It's something anyways, don't quote me, but the bottom number is what we're watching. It's you don't want it to get over 90, and hers was over 90 one time this morning, and then back under at 87. So they wanted us to come in and see, since water's broke. We're monitoring that blood pressure. We don't think she has preeclampsia, but we don't know. So, and she's been leaking and filling big giant pads all night.
The good news is I had my blood labs yesterday, and the results should be back at noon, and it's 11. So we should know my blood labs today. So that will give us more idea of complete blood count, hemoglobin levels, protein levels, all that stuff. So apparently that will help tell you if it indicates preeclampsia or not. So we dropped little guy off at Grammy's house.
It's sad, and he didn't even care. He's playing with the other kids, and I gave him a bunch of kisses, but he doesn't.
She has a
know
daycare, and he just went right back into the playroom and started playing, and we're like, we're gonna miss you so much, and he's like, get out of my face.
So
we're gonna bring him home with sister.
So it's just a good time, and I bet 10/5 was the day she was gonna have the baby, and today is 10/5.
Yeah. Calming down to get a good blood pressure reading.
Turn the light on just for the vlog, but we have to turn it back off to keep you calm. Okay, tell us what she said.
You say.
So we are going to try to keep her calm, keep her laying down. We're not stuck here, but we are going to be here probably throughout the labor. And because she's already had her water broke and she's already had a baby, they're going to use castor oil? Like motor oil?
Not like castor oil.
Oh.
Castor.
Castor oil. That's why I had to ask. Sounded kind of bad. It could give diarrhea, so I thought maybe it was like stuff you put in your car.
Oh, you're funny.
She says she's got some herbs and some medicinal stuff, but basically we want to try to stimulate some contractions to really try to move that baby in. Definitely I'm excited about that, and they both know it, and they're giving me crap about it, but I'm excited to meet her.
Does that sound like a plan? To me, Amy's like, yep, it sounds like a plan. We're like, we all know you like that idea.
So I'm going to go get our computer and her clothes and some food put in the refrigerator.
And then we'll be cleared to go get some lunch and come back, as long as contractions aren't super strong.
Yeah.
So just going to take a blood pressure right now, and just came to get the plan.
And the overall plan is that if her blood pressure stays under the 140 over 90, which is the threshold for seizures and hyper...
Well, no. Okay, so the blood labs came back that I do not have preeclampsia.
Yes.
And so I could still theoretically have a higher blood pressure reading, which doesn't in itself mean anything, because that can happen in pregnancy. Your blood pressure can get a little bit high. But the longer, theoretically, that you stay pregnant, the higher that it can get, and it can develop into preeclampsia. So that's why we're just going to try to get this show on the road. That's from what I understand, right?
Yeah, and if it does, for some reason, get over that 140 over 90, that we would maybe have the conversation with the hospital, because we just don't want to risk anything with mama or baby, and we just want to do everything we can to make sure she's safe. But we think that if she's staying down, laying down, limiting her stress, and really, getting that factor, that we should be able to keep it under that rate. The rest of the suite, where we might spend some time in this one big, huge bathtub. And then I'm going to go get some food to put in the refrigerator in the kitchen. This is almost as nice as the place that we got to stay while we were waiting for our house. I'm going to try that first.
6:32 p.m. Okay, so here we are back at home. None of the walking around or spicy food or anything helped today, so we got sent home from the birth center. It's about 6:30 at night, and we're about to take this stuff. You can see it, castor oil. It's a kind of a laxative stimulant. Basically it can help speed along or start contractions. Since I haven't really had any, I'm a little nervous. I've been doing some reading on it, and from what the midwives were saying, it's gonna probably cause some pretty severe diarrhea, especially since I'm supposed to take half of the bottle, and usually you take about 4 teaspoons of it. So I take 2 ounces of it, and then if nothing happens, by around 10 o'clock, I'm gonna take 2 more ounces, so finish the bottle. So I got a smoothie, or a shake, I guess, whatever it is, just like an Arby's shake to mix up in it, and I don't like the vanilla at all, so we got vanilla. She said don't do a flavor that you like because you'll probably never want it again. Amy is jumping in the shower because midwife said she rarely has anybody use this and it doesn't work, but we're getting to about the 18-hour mark of the water being broken with no contractions at all. So she was mentioning that there's a chance that she may be actually assisted in prematurely rupturing the membranes when we did the membrane sweep and the cervical manipulation, but it's never happened to her before. But my water did break pretty quickly, probably within, I don't know, 8 or so hours after she did that. But I was already dilated to about a 2, so it's like my body kind of is starting the labor process. I've been having a lot of the Braxton Hicks contractions, so we're just gonna try this. And in the morning, if we're still in the same position, we are going to talk about a hospital transfer and what that will look like, because we definitely don't want the baby in there, especially after our water's been broken. Not because you actually lose water, your body will replenish it, but the risk of infection, since that mucus plug is broken, goes up significantly, and we don't want baby in fetal distress or respiratory distress or prolapse cord or any of that sort of stuff that can happen with your water breaking and not going into active labor. So that's where we're at. I'll let you guys know how this tastes. So she said it's pretty sticky. We'll see. Oh, yikes. So I'm gonna measure it out here. Oh, that's a lot of gross stuff here. All right, 2 ounces of this nasty gelatinous stuff. Oh, good Lord, I can't believe I'm doing this. I did not expect to be at this point in the game. I was really hoping to just go into natural labor this time and not have to worry about this mess. But there you go. I don't want to make a giant smoothie because I don't want to have to drink all of that. Oh, it's just so thick. Oh, you can see it's not even mixing up. It's just sitting on the bottom there. All oily. Ew. Doesn't smell like anything. So that is some sticky stuff. It's even hard to wash out. It's very oily, thick. Yuck. Okay, here we go with round 2 of this nasty stuff. My milkshake got a little frozen because we took a little nap and absolutely nothing happened. So midwife called and she said go ahead and take the 2nd dose. It is 8:55. And then we're going to talk at around 10 and figure out what the next step's going to be if this doesn't do anything. So here we go.